You know, it's a friggin' thin privilege thing. Being able to wear your partner's, like, regular clothing and for it to be baggy on you.
I hope this is a joke, but I also know it isn't. Dating someone that is approximately 2 to 3 sizes larger than you is a privilege? Really?
Okay, I'm jumping in on the question of the hour. Is it fatphobic to not want yourself to be fat? The biggest defense of that argument is like, why is it a problem for me to have a preference about the way that my body looks? So I think this is a twofold thing. First of all, preferences don't exist in a vacuum. The reason that you would prefer to have a thin body is because of society's fatphobia. Duh. That is not an isolated thought that you came up with. So yeah, it is your preference, but do some critical thinking. Where did that come from? And two, I think that's a super bogus and lazy way to like write off this whole conversation. Because if people really started to question, why do we think this way and why do we value thinness so much, it would cause everyone to have to get more involved with fat liberation, and they just don't want to.
Wanting to be skinny and be a healthy weight is definitely not an isolated thought. It comes from decades and in reality, millennia of observations that having a lot of excess body fat is unhealthy. It is a learned thought based on observation and scientific evidence, not exclusively from a societal pressure to be thin. Wanting to lose weight or remain skinny is not always because someone has a strong prejudice against fat people. And even if someone is obese and wants to lose weight for aesthetic reasons, along with being healthier, that's also completely valid and they shouldn't be shamed for that.
I look super rough, but I definitely needed to come and address this comment, especially in video form. I am actually trying to fix society by making all bodies normalized. I'm not diminishing your hard work to be thin. You do you, boo. But your life shouldn't be easier just because your body's smaller than mine. And saying fix your weight when you have no idea what my history is, my health, anything like that, you don't know my genetics, that's kind of a big blanket, really rude statement to say. And if you don't want to be called rude, don't be rude on the internet to people you don't know. All this to say, thin privilege is still a thing. And if you got mad at that video, maybe kind of take a look at yourself as to why. Are you mad that you have to be thin? If so, I'm sorry, girlfriend. I'm here to tell you, you don't. Your comment comes across as really salty that you have to work to be thin. Why not just live your life?
The comment only said, your weight is something that is within your control, so being thin isn't a privilege. I work hard to remain thin, and that if you want to lose weight, you could. I don't think there's anything bitter about what this commenter said. They said they work hard to maintain their body and their health, and that is an option for others if they so choose. And they said you can fix your weight because you are clearly over what would be considered a healthy weight for your size, and if you want the privileges you say thin people have, you can put in the effort to get them.
Gain weight by eating enough. That is the body that you are intended to have.
Our brains don't stop developing until we're like 25, so why do we expect anything different from our body? Why do we expect our bodies to just like freeze at the age of 16 and never change? Like if you are in the gym every week for hours, sometimes every day, or if you're in a caloric deficit and always dieting, then that's not what your body's supposed to look like. Like give yourself a break, figure out what your body actually looks like.
So I don't think anybody expects their bodies to not change over time. Our bodies are fully developed after puberty, but bodies will obviously change throughout time due to pregnancy and hormones and life. I think the point you are trying to make is that if you consciously work to change your body size, it is altering the quote-unquote natural state of your body. But saying that if you go to the gym regularly that means you are altering your body in an unnatural way is stupid. For one thing, not everyone goes to the gym to make themselves look a certain way, some do it because exercise feels good. And even if someone is going to the gym to lose weight or be leaner, why is it a bad thing to take the effort out of your day to be conscious about your diet and exercise? You only have one body and it's perfectly reasonable to want to take care of it.
So this commenter wants to know why weight loss surgery is dangerous. So let's get into that a little bit. This article is titled Long-Term Weight Regain After Gastric Bypass, a 5-year prospective study. Scroll down to the conclusion, and it tells you weight regain was observed within 24 months after surgery in approximately 50% of patients, which is a horrific success rate. Bariatric surgery, a perspective for primary care from American Diabetes Association. Scrolling down to complications after bariatric surgery. As you can see, there is a fuck ton of complications with all of the different weight loss surgeries, and this is just a couple articles out of a lot that I could have pulled. It also comes with having to stick to a very, very strict diet basically for the rest of your life. You start with like a liquid only diet and it slowly ramps up, but it completely changes the way that you can consume food, which can lead to a lot of malnutrition issues. Obviously, everyone is free to make their own decisions, but you could not pay me any amount of money to have any form of weight loss surgery. Not with all of these risks and with how ineffective it is. And then you have lifelong risks. Also, well, lifelong risks and issues. Also, go through the comments on both of those videos. There are a ton of horror stories from people who have either had weight loss surgery or who have loved ones who have had weight loss surgery that either died or have had severe complications. So read through comments. There's a lot of personal stories in the comment section. All right, thanks for asking. If you have any further questions, feel free to ask. Thanks.
Point 1, 50% is a bad success rate. Yes, but it's significantly better than the 95% diet failure rate that is continuously pushed by the fat acceptance community, so it's actually very good. Point 2, there are a lot of risks involved in weight loss surgery. Yes, but what this tells me is how dangerous being morbidly obese is, because if medical professionals are recommending a surgery like this, it means they think remaining obese is actually more dangerous than the surgery.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. You're actually allowed to eat more than half a banana. I know, it's a lot to take in. But when you look at a banana and how a banana is created, they really weren't made to be eaten in halves. Just saying. So why are we eating half a banana? Because diet culture told us that worrying about the macros or the calories in a banana is the most important thing that we need to be worrying about. God forbid we actually focus on more pressing issues like social and economic problems. No, we need to prioritize worrying about the calories or the macros or the grams of sugar in a banana. Further encouraging the idea that us women need to worry about being as small as possible, and that is our life's ambition. I roll.
There's some weird banana story in this woman's past that I'm honestly very curious about. Besides that, I think she's making a huge deal out of something super small. Most people aren't going around shaming people for eating full bananas, and not a single woman I know has expressed regret or worry about eating a full banana or any fruit for that matter. This seems like one long projection.
Just another reminder that the BOPO movement was not created for thin people. It was created by fat black women for marginalized bodies. Next time, just say you don't know anything about the history of the movement and move on. I also really hope that you try to unlearn your fat phobia. Thank you.
Body positivity means different things for different people. Stop trying to gatekeep a movement with your own guidelines for the movement. And also, the post never said anything even remotely fatphobic, so I don't know why you're telling her to be less fatphobic.
I'm gonna answer this one last time. You can do whatever you want to your body. Just like fat people can do whatever they want to their body. It's not a matter of what your personal preference for your body is. It's about why you have that preference and the way in which you externalize that to the people around you. If I wanted to be thin, if I wanted to go to the gym because I wanted to be thin, it would be because I did not want to be fat. Because I think that being fat is wrong, which is why I've gone to the gym every time in my life. It's not because I wanted to be healthy. I didn't care about being healthy. I'm already healthy. A lot of fat people are already healthy. It's about wanting to be thin because you don't want to be fat.
She said, wanting to be thin is bad because it means that you think being fat is wrong. I'm going to take it from your tone that you meant wrong in a moralistic way, and respond that most people that try to lose weight don't think being fat is wrong in a moral sense. They think it is wrong for their body. Just like having excess fat on anyone's body is wrong for what should be the healthy state of their body. You, as an individual, are not bad for being fat. Your body may just be in a bad state.
We all know skinny people who eat a ton of food and never seem to gain weight. So why do we have such a hard time believing that there are plenty of fat people in our lives who don't overeat, who don't ever lose weight? Genetics plays a huge part.
There are many, many reasons, my sweet William. First of all, unless you spend all day every day watching everything a skinny person eats, your assumption that they eat a ton is based on a quick snapshot of their life, and possibly their inaccurate telling of the rest of their daily food consumption. Second, because you cannot maintain having 100 pounds or more of excess body fat, day in and day out, while eating 1,500 calories a day or undereating. It defies basic thermodynamics.
Okay, hear me out. My pants don't fit, and that does not make me a bad person. That makes the pants not fit. It has nothing to do with my moral character. I'm going to take off the pants, return the pants, and get my money back. The end.
Okay, so I'm going to assume she bought these pants in her usual size, but she gained weight so they don't fit. I agree that there is nothing morally wrong with not fitting a pair of pants. But if you are consistently buying larger clothes year to year, then it may be a sign that there is something wrong with your eating habits or your relationship to food. There is still no moral failure in that, but it is something you can fix.